Then Professor Katarzyna Gromek-Broc will present topic Just Transition, New Avenues and its Consequences on Employment.
Thank you ever so much, Professor Kraśniewski. As my name says, I'm of Polish origin. I'm also Pole, although I'm French since a very, very long time because I left Poland when I was a little girl. But today I would be a Pole if you let me. Then ask me where Pavia is. So some professors here, they know Pavia. Even Professor Kraśniewski has been a visiting scholar since September, although he doesn't know Pavia either, but he has been a visiting scholar. Professor Hevron knows Pavia. It's a very medieval city. Very beautiful city, although I don't have a preference for medieval architecture, no windows, as you know, but it's a very well-preserved city on the south of Milan in Italy. The second issue is about that for Christians, you have bones of San Agostino in Pavia, almost in my courtyard. So this is another important detail. So it's not, I think that, Marcin, would you be able to? No, I haven't started, but I know that I have 15 minutes, so I will try to do. Another very important detail is it's a very, very old university. Apparently the oldest law school in the world, so set up in 749, but at that time it was not called university yet because the university needed to have many faculties, so law school was not a university. And then the date of establishment is disputed, and Pavia is fighting for the first place with Sorbona as to the date, not about importance of the university. So I have seen on the program that it was just transition. I just don't know if it's not my mistake somehow, because I sent few titles to Professor Kraśniewski, which is a nightmare for the organizer. You know this very well, that never do this because, you know, say, oh no, I have to correct this. But this was my idea about writing about e-jobs and to what extent they could be equivalent, or at least equivalent to those minor workers are losing. And in this perspective, yes, I'm Paul here, because as a little girl, I just remember how important it was, this festivity of miners in Poland, which is always 4th of December. And I remember, and you should organize the conference on the 4th of December. And I had this huge heart with as a miner worker. So it was extremely, the miner work as well. We know that coal was our pride, our dignity, the pillar of Polish economy, and they were very appreciated, those workers. So change this work into reusage or reusable something. It's just really diminishing. So this is for my four pillar the four dimension that I'm going to talk. So the jobs are not cooked yet, but it was this was my idea to write about this, to what extent those jobs could be the new jobs that could be maybe more appreciated than what is done. So in English university, we always start with research question. My research question is extremely simple, and it's just a repetition, but it's as simple as a question, but still we don't know how to do it. So how to accelerate transition, how to overcome challenges, and make it really fair and just. Again, I refer to Professor Hevron. He said that scholarship today is not done by lawyers. Justice doesn't appear. Have you counted just? The word just. How many times just, because here I won't be talking really about justice, but what is just and what is fair. So then just transition. So just remember that just transition, everybody says, and in the scholarship, it often appears, I shouldn't move. So it's not, so what shall I do? So when I'm moving, I should take this with me. Right. So, okay, I will take home. Right. So first of all, just transition doesn't come from Green Deal like many authors they talk about. It's just a term that evolved in 1960s in the US during the reconstruction of mines and the problem of losing jobs of miners. Workers. So just transition. Gigi, can you move the slide? So just transition has these 4 dimensions, and this is a very scholarly type of lecture when we talk about reskilling, retraining, creation of new jobs. And here the question is, what jobs? How to make them equivalent, because we do create jobs, but so far we have many temporary jobs which we cannot guarantee that they would last. And finally, are they decent for people? And here I refer to these coal miners in my childhood and this heart that I had and this pride that the Polish people believed that to be a miner worker, it was really a privilege. Right, so we have this 4 dimension, reskilling, retraining, creating of new jobs, regional diversification, so what is needed, and social protection of workers. Social protection of workers, here we can refer to these decent jobs. Okay, we will replace them, but how? And we know that coming to the words fair and just, progress is uneven. So what do we need? Funding. We know that we need funding. We have funding. We have funds. I will be talking tomorrow in different class on this. But not only. We need governance. We need social dialogue. We need regional networks and synergies. So all this is needed. So challenges of transition in employment. And what they are, like mismatch of skills and timing. So here, this is a very, next. So this is a very, very big problem, mismatch of skills and timing. This regional diversification, what it means. So here we can, and here maybe we can refer to the region that the conference is now, because sometimes it might be difficult to change this option in the region where it was, the coal was a predominant job givers and so on. So if not managed properly, the transition might produce the job loss and no replacement. So management is important. Decent work. What's the decent work? So decent work here, why we talk about dialogue, what we need. We want those workers to make active actors of the transition. What it means active. So they should be involved in all sorts of restructuring and new jobs. I thought it was for me, so sorry. Because usually it's just that you have 5 minutes, but I'm just like, right. And here I would say that taking this 4-dimension, holistic approach is needed. So we need financing, we need good management, we need to look at this regional diversification, and Next. And reskilling, what is this about? So I'm sure that you know that the best in reskilling, it's Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden. So for instance, in Sweden, are we here? Yes. In Sweden, we have 66.5% of adult population engaged in learning. So this is also very important. And here what I can say, for instance, Italy is extremely bad. It's in the bottom line in adult reskilling. So this is important. So we need to. So here you have. Can we next? Right. So engaging adult population in reskilling. This could help to requalify workers and find them better jobs. Jobs creation. So what sort of jobs we have? I'm sorry that some of the data 2023, 2025, I haven't found better. So, but they surely exist. So, for instance, new jobs and new categories. So renewable energy sector jobs is estimated to 1.69 million full-time and rising by 15%. Heat pumps, here you have a data, biofuels, and wind power. So job creation, again, can we? What do we have? So green and circular economy jobs. And here we have this X. So you know what X? X are environmental goods and service sector. So those are jobs in X. So here again we can talk about this. So I just really appreciated this talk about that. We need to talk about the regional because we have regional problems. So this is very important. So just give to this Polish miner, such a distinguished person, this job in repair, reuse, recycling, and so on. So what are X? Environmental goods and service sector. So those are the jobs. The job creation, yes, thank you. So here we have some countries, and at one point Portugal was really at the top in jobs in renewables. Then Germany managed well. Germany is a mixed example of just transition, but here the jobs were produced. Spain's also has quite good results. Romania, Bulgaria. I'm sorry to say Hungary. That I hope that I don't offend the professor who was just previously. They don't do so well. Why they don't do so well here? I underline that they have extremely low percentage of reskilling. So I underlined that we need a holistic approach. Then let's come to regional diversification challenges in transition. So what it means, it's about reducing dependence on a single sector or a single employer. So many sectors, and then we know that in the EU, the regions are unevenly affected. And yes, and we need to improve what we call fair and just. Poland, I just don't want to talk about Poland because we are here and I already heard yesterday many of excellent speeches about Poland. As I said, that sometimes it might be that they are limited alternatives in the field where was predominantly for years overshadowed and taken by coal. And here I have some next. Yes. So main weaknesses and solutions. So main weaknesses. First, uneven. Well, we have different problems in different reasons. One, in the scholarship, it was used that, for instance, the EU Just Transition mechanism is used for short-term project. That this is wrong. That we should emphasize long-term projects. Then some solutions. So strengthen regional innovation, universities. So here again, I would refer to Professor Heffron talk innovation. How much is of this? Investment, also he was talking about investment, that we invest less. Also, adopting regional solutions to regional problems. So, also the dialogue between local ownership and transition plans. Invest in digitalization and education. So this is what Professor Kraśniewski suggests, that I should be talking about e-job. So I maybe next time I'll be talking about the e-jobs, because yesterday I had a very short discussion with Dr. Mateusz Cieślak. And I said to him, why do you think that e-jobs, you need to be very specialized to have them e-jobs? They could be very simple. And then if we look at, for instance, Artificial Intelligence Act and so on, that could be something very simple, and it's still an e-job. So this could be challenge, avoiding green precariety. So what is this here? Another discussion yesterday that we had about energy poverty and how to get out of this and so on. So we should point towards something that, because for now what we create a lot of jobs, insecure, low age, and in the new fields, and the fields are also unsecure, so we don't know in 10 years if those jobs would stay. Workers' protection, I'm just finishing because, yes, further. Weakness, we have already done. Solutions, further, I think you went just transition. Yes, workers' protection. So, what we can say about, I did say about dialogue and about the fact that workers need to become active actors in what is going to happen to them. What they choose, they should be engaged in planning, in discussion, and we have an old EU directive on this, that workers should be informed during talks on restructuring, closure, and so on. Building fair transition solutions. So yesterday, again, everything was covered yesterday. So it was professor from Pavia, so now you know where Pavia is. So professor from Pavia, who was talking online, he was talking about sustainability clauses in the contract. Also, what we can do, public subsidies only for the firms with retraining and redeployment plans, partnership. With whom? So government, employers, unions, and regions together. And local investment. This is very important to see local problems. So also, can we move? The last point of my talk is about what the law could do. And here I just found really a ground. So yes, the scholarship is not the scholarship is not about law. It's very little about the law. And there is a huge place for law. So what the law could do, obviously it could do much more, but I just identified a few things. So creating obligations for states and regions, make conditional subsidies and tax insensitive, impose local employment clause, well, this is what we discuss, impose decent wage standards, so this is law also can do. Well, there are a few other things, but I just wanted to finish, as I said, in 15 minutes, because I see. So conclusion. In conclusion, I would say that workers active participant of transition. This is very important. And new jobs must be stable, safe, and fairly paid. So again, I'm coming to this decent work. So not just replacement, and decent work should be seen, well, a standard clause, but should be seen as non-negotiable principle. And another, the last thing, what the law could do, empower regions and workers. Law is the engine that turns climate goals into social justice. Can I say this, Professor? if you, maybe it's from your book. It is? Well, so thank you very much. I think that I make it in 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.